What's up everybody, DK here with Collector's Impact, and today I'm going to showcase a little collection of cards here that I am going to be sending into PSA based on those packs that I open from the DC Cosmic Cards, set from 1991/1992. It's such an odd way that they did that, It's kind of like a sports set. It's 1991/92, though PSA has it categorized as 1992, even though on the box it says 1991. But on some of the cards, they say 1990. I'll show you this example. This was cracking me up. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys. 1992 Series 1. And then you go to the bottom and it says copyright 1991. So if any of you guys were confused by that, you're not alone. I was confused by that. It's very different from how the Marvel sets work. But I guess since this was the first set of the DC comics trying to enter the space, they did it a little bit differently. It must have come out right at sort of like a weird crossover time period in the market. So I don't know. That's just my little PSA on that. Anyway, I have chosen out a collection of, what is this, roughly 16 cards from that box opening. I know that I said that I was only going to do roughly 10, but you start looking through them and you're like, okay, here's 10, and then, well, it evolved into 16. But to make it even better, I actually rounded this up to 20. So there's 16 DC cards, 3 Marvel cards, and one very special, very special Star Wars card. So it's if you make it all the way to the end of the video, you're in for a treat with that one. If you haven't seen it already, wow. Okay. Anyway, before I get into these, in terms of the ones that I've selected and why, I'm going to go ahead and give some honorable mentions here. So the first honorable mention from the box is the Ares card. This is a card that I actually really did want to grade. I was I was kind of on the fence with it, but since PSA has increased their prices so dramatically, I just couldn't justify it in the sense that the alignment is off on the card. I measured all of these cards out in pretty strong detail, as well as I checked over the surfaces and the edges and everything. And even fresh out of the pack, a lot of the cards are just not good candidates for grading, unfortunately. The objective of this submission is definitely 9s and 10s. I want 9s and 10s only. An 8 can maybe slip in there and that would be okay or whatever, but I'm really going for 9s and 10s here. So with that said, Ares is one oh man, I was so hopeful for it, but it just didn't make the cut, and I only pulled one of them. So out of the entire box of 36 packs, this is the only Ares card that came out of it. But you can see, especially on the back, how bad the alignment is. Look at that giant border versus this one. So there, I just couldn't work with it. But maybe in the future, if I open more, that's definitely going to be on my list of ones I want. So that's honorable mention 1. Honorable mention 2 is Wildcat. I really did want to get a graded version of this card. I pulled 3 of them, and all 3 of them had bad alignment. As you can tell here, larger border than over here. Overall, the cards were in pretty decent shape. I mean, there are some interesting little edge wears on most of the cards, to be honest, but yeah, Wildcat was another one that just didn't make the cut. Couldn't find one that was even remotely worth grading. And another honorable mention, there's only 2 more left. So another honorable mention is this particular Wonder Woman Modern Age. I only actually pulled 2 Wonder Woman Modern Ages. So this one was the worst of the 2 in terms of its alignment. You can tell right away. Giant border, smaller border. Other than that, the card is in good condition, so I still have it set aside as a potential. If they ever lower their prices again to $10 a card, this will be one that goes into a bulk submission for $10. I just can't justify the 20 on it. Nope. And last but not least of the honorable mentions are these 3 these 3 Dr. Lights. So the alignment on I was really hoping to at least get one of these graded and slabbed, as I really like the artwork. It's a pretty cool, interesting card from the set, but there is a problem with it in terms of every single one of these came out damaged, as you can see right here. You can see it right there. There's like that's an indent in the card. It's from one of the rollers. It's from the paper roller in the factory. And every single one of these cards has that exact same defect, which is that's a damn shame. You know, I really did want one, but whatever. Stuff happens, and I just find it interesting that this one card in particular, I mean, there were some others that had the same issue, but every single one of these, so it must have been in the exact same spot on every single print sheet for this particular run that was included in this box. They were all damaged. So, damn. No Dr. Light for this submission. And with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's jump into the ones that I did pick. So number one here is Superman from the Silver Age. This one, the alignment isn't perfect. It's not 100% perfect, but it is within a comfortable range of where PSA might be pretty lenient to it. In the camera, it actually looks a little different than it does in real life. To tell you the truth, it might be the reflection, I don't know, so I'm trying to get some different angles here, but yeah, overall, this particular one that I chose out was the best of all of them. I think I had 4 or 5 of this particular card. So this is the one that won out over all of them. Had the best alignment and the least border issues. You can still see that it still has some sort of little cutting machine defects on it. But overall, I would expect a 9 out of this. A 10 I would be super happy with, but it should pull a 9 considering it is packed fresh. There's not really anything wrong with it outside of manufacturer or very small little defects like that. And it went straight into a sleeve. It's a beautiful card, so I'm anticipating a 9 from that. Next is his arch enemy here, Lex Luthor. Now this card, I only pulled 2 of them. And the alignment is not perfect on this, but it isn't terrible either. So it's one of those scenarios where this is probably another 9. It would be great to get a 10, but other than the alignment, yeah, the card's in beautiful condition. These are all, aside from weird little defects like there was on Dr. Light, everything that was chosen here doesn't have any of that kind of stuff. So it's just that mild alignment issue, and then there's Lex. This is Modern Age Lex. I, of course, chose my favorite artwork out of the 3 variants. So they had Modern Age, Silver Age, and Golden Age variants to choose from. I did pull, I think, pretty much multiples of all of the cards within those for each of these characters. But these artworks were the best. So that's number 2. Number 3, boom! Shazam from Modern Age. So I mentioned in the previous videos there that Shazam is definitely one of my favorite DC characters. And this particular artwork is really cool. I mean, I'm really liking it. You've got the statues in the background. You've got greed and envy in the background. Just everything about this card is my favorite version of the Shazam from the set. Alignment's great. Overall quality is decent. You can see a little bit of border nicks, but yeah. Another one that's probably a 9. Any of these get 10s, I'll be super happy, but they're going in at all $20 a card, so, you know, what else can I say there, right? Here's Modern Age Flash, that's number 4. I mean, just a solid card all around. Super solid card. Number 6, Modern Age Flash. Alright, next is the Phantom Lady. And this one is one that I pulled a few different copies of this one, but this particular copy is the only one that was like in relatively good alignment and good enough condition without any sort of edge wear and manufacturing defects. There was only one in the whole box that was worthy of grading, and that's the one you're looking at right here. So I'm hoping for a 10, to be honest, on good old Phantom Lady here. I really like this artwork. I think the flavor of it's just too cool, and the kicking that dude right in the face, just, it's everything about this card is great. So I'm really hoping for that 10. Maybe Spider-Woman will bring us some luck on that. Next is Despero. And this one, alignment isn't exactly perfect, but it's still within that comfort range. And man, that artwork just pops, you know. This, in comparison to a lot of the other cards in the set, this one has so much flavor that I definitely wanted it in the collection of graded cards. I mean, you could just see him over there manipulating, like, you know, moving the people like pawns in chess. I'm expecting like some Ozzy to start singing with that fiery, crazy artwork. I mean, it's awesome. So next is Dove. Good old Dove. Again, this one was chosen primarily because of the artwork for me. It's just so flavorful. That, you know, crescent moon with the Washington Monument and the little American flags there around the monument, and just the presentation of this card is outstanding for what it is. And of course, the quality of this particular card is great. Alignment's great. No major defects. This could definitely pull a 10 if I'm lucky. Alright, next we have Phobia. And this one is kind of like Ares in the sense that I only pulled one in the entire box. So I kept note of things like that as well when choosing out the cards. This one is just as rare as Ares, and considering that it actually was in damn near perfect alignment, I decided to include it in the lot. Plus, it's pretty sweet. The artwork is great. Yeah, I don't really have any negative things to say about that card, that's for sure. I'm excited to see if it pulls a 10. I'd be very, very happy. Next, we've got the Wonder Woman from Modern Age. And as I mentioned in the other one, in the honorable mention, neither one of the two that I pulled were perfect alignment. So this one is definitely, it's not a 10, more than likely, just because of this border being bigger than this one. But overall condition and presentation on this one is better than the other one that didn't make the cut. And I definitely wanted at least one of these in my collection, regardless if it's a 10 or not, so I'd be very happy with a 9 if it actually comes back a 9. And then we've got the War of the Gods. The greatest battles, or the great battles, not the greatest, but just some great battles. Again, with this artwork, it's super flavorful. The colors really pop. It's just so bright and vivid. And of all of the little landscape, or, you know, the landscaped layout cards that came in the packs, this was definitely my favorite. It speaks to me. Yeah, so I definitely wanted to get a graded copy of it. I mean, you can see right away that the alignment on this is really nice, and the overall card condition is nice. I think I pulled four copies of this card as well, and this one was by far and away the best of the 4. And last of the regular cards is the Action Comics #1 card. Alignment isn't perfect, but it's pretty close. So nothing drastic there, and the card's overall condition is okay. I really would hope for a 10, but chances are it'll pull a 9 just because of those weird little cutter defects on the border and stuff. I didn't try to alter them. I don't know if people do that or not. I figured that would be like kind of a strike against me if PSA saw something like that, like you get like a nail file and file that down or something. Maybe it would work. But I didn't want to take the risk and actually ruin the card doing something like that to try to make the border as smooth as possible. So I'm just sending it in exactly how it came out of the pack. And hoping for the best. I just really like that. It's, of course, the first issue of Superman, or the first comic where Superman was premiered. Pretty iconic artwork. And overall, I think that'd be a great addition to the comic card collection. Next, we get into the holograms. Now, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and submit all of the holograms that I pulled, just because I'm sending them in that value tier, so they're only going to cost $20 a card, which is still pretty pricey, all things considered. But if they come back as 9s, I'd be very, very happy. This one here, Dark Side, I mean, all of them have that scratch in the corner, so they really might come back as 8s or 7s. So this is kind of a gamble, but if they were to be 9s or 10s, even with DC not being anywhere near as popular as Marvel, they're still, if they were 9s or 10s, they're multi-$100 cards. So if I get lucky, it is worth the gamble on it. It's going to cost roughly $100 to send in all of the holograms that I pulled. So $100 and a year's worth of time, and we'll see what ends up happening. Superman is the only one I'm super bummed about, because boom, they dinged his corner, shoving him in the pack. This get the hell in there, and it just really really didn't work out in my favor as the guy who opened the pack 30 years later. I mean, but whatever. The overall surface of the card is absolutely outstanding. You can see just how, even on camera, wow, you can kind of see some 3D effects going on there. This is definitely the nicest of all of them in terms of the coolest setting, with the Earth there and the moon, and he's standing on Mars. I would assume that's Mars, and just chilling up there in space, not even phased. And lastly, from DC, I have 2 copies of the Flash. The Flash's hologram. Both have bad alignment, and both are scratched at the top left corner. So, well, you know, sending them in as a pair, and we'll see what they do. Next, let's do the 3 Marvel cards that I chose out. Now, since I didn't get to submit all of those cards that I had featured in a previous video of bulk submission cards that I was looking to send in, I went ahead and chose out the ones that remained that I wanted to make sure to get in there, even at the higher price, just because I really like the cards. So Loki from the 1991 Marvel set made the cut. Artwork's fantastic. It's got the World Trade Center. He's like boiling the river there, and yeah, just overall, such a flavorful card. The Brooklyn Bridge featured so prominently. I mean, it's great. Plus, they're going to be doing some more things with Loki in the near future with Disney Plus, and probably in the movies too. But I think Disney Plus has something coming with him. So maybe in a year's time or less, hopefully, when I get these back, that'll be good. Next is Ant-Man from the 1992 set. I personally am a huge fan of Ant-Man. I think that the character is great. It's kind of a random B character, but man, I really liked the movies. That's number 1. But number 2, just the concept of the character and everything is really cool. So this is the first Ant-Man card that they made in these Marvel Universe sets. So in a way, it's kind of his rookie card. Though he is an older character than when the card came out, so they didn't stamp it with the rookie stamp just because of that. But it is kind of his premiere card as a character in this particular printing of these cards. Lastly, from the Marvel stuff is the Skybox 1993 Marvel Masterpieces Spider-Woman. So you can see there I featured her on the mat here today. And there she is in card form. So Spider-Woman is the last Marvel character to make the cut, and she will hopefully be getting a nice grade and joining my collection as hopefully a 10. I would be super stoked. There's really nothing wrong with this card. It's pretty outstanding. So eager to see what happens there. And if you guys made it this far, drum roll please. Oh my god, are you in for a treat? So this is a genuine card from Star Wars. If you are faint of heart, definitely avert your eyes. So, fair warning now, but yeah. Boom! This is real, and it's apparently an error card that was inserted into the packs. They call it an error card. It's known as the Golden Rod C-3PO, and I'm sure you can see why. So, I mean, I knew that R2-D2 had the little thing that he can plug into the mainframes. I didn't know C-3PO had one, and wow, is he endowed. So that's that's great, 3PO, but what the heck, you know? There are quite a few reproductions of this card available on the market, but this is the actual authentic one from the 70s, from the Topps set that it came from. Good old number 207, Anthony Daniels, Goldenrod Error. So this card can definitely be pretty expensive in a high grade. With this particular one, I'm not really expecting much. I would expect a PSA 6 or so, because it does have some edge wear and a few things like that. But considering that it was able to go into the lot for the $20 price sticker to get it graded along with these other cards, I've had it set aside for quite a while. Been meaning to send it in, and so here he goes, joining his friends there, bringing happiness and joy all the way to PSA and back. So that really that really wraps it up for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation of 20 cards that I'm sending in for grading. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on what you think of these choices, if you like them, if you don't like them, and all of that fun stuff. And thanks for checking out the video. If you liked what you saw, definitely give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, definitely hit that subscribe button. Would love to see you join the subscriber list for Collector's Impact. We'll make an impact together in this world of collectibles and insanity right now in the 2020s, 2021 and beyond. So thanks again, and I hope to see you back again soon, and take care. Have a good one.